Craig. I'm the president of the Sons of the American Revolution. We're a congressionally chartered organization, and the purpose of our organization is to remember and honor those patriots, both family members and children, who fought in the Revolution to create this country. Let's see, we're going to start this morning with the Pledge of Allegiance. So can I have the call for the flag?
Lapeer, present.
All right, and if you can follow me in terms of the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lapeer, return.
Okay. We're here today to dedicate this portrait of General Washington. The intent of this, the portrait was actually, the purpose of this is to dedicate the portrait of General Washington, and this was actually donated by the Paul Emery chapter of the Michigan Sons of the American Revolution to Lapeer schools. I had been working for quite a while with Matt Wandry, your superintendent, on making this happen. The portrait is a replica of one that actually hangs at Mount Vernon, and it was provided to us by the Ladies Association in Mount Vernon. Several of the honor guard here have also had the opportunity to actually stand guard at General Washington's tomb in Mount Vernon. The uniform that you see here is a replica of George Washington's Special Guard, which was kind of a precursor to today's Secret Service. And this uniform is fairly accurate. If you looked at George Washington's uniform, which is in the Smithsonian, the only difference is that he would have the buff vest instead of the red vest that we have here and stuff too. But part of the reason that we're wanting to have the portrait of George Washington in the schools is that, you know, the fear here is that people will lose touch, that they will forget, that they don't remember those individuals who sacrificed everything, including their land, their homes, everything, in order to establish this country. So we're very proud to have this portrait of General Washington hang in the Lapeer schools, and hopefully it'll be a remembrance for all future students that come through here that this was the original commander-in-chief, and he and many of the other patriots that fought with him did sacrifice to give you this country that we now enjoy today. So with that, I'd like to call up Matt Wandry.
Great, appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
On behalf of Lapeer Community Schools and those students present today, I want to thank you and their other representatives of the Sons of the American Revolution for this generous donation, at least facilitating it for us from Mount Vernon. But as a former history teacher myself, very excited about the opportunity to share a little bit of history with our students here in Lapeer Community Schools, and I can't say a great deal more than what Dr. Sprague, the sentiments that he echoed relative to the importance of remembering the sacrifices our founding fathers endured in order to create things like the Declaration of Independence, the United States Constitution, the document that still manages and operates our republic today. A few things about Washington I think that are noteworthy that I'm sure those of you well-read students already know, so this will be a repetition for most of you. But Washington was the first president to be unanimously elected by the Electoral College, and at that time we did not have a popular vote of the people for the U.S. president, so he still remains today the only president to be twice unanimously elected to the presidency. He was the first American to sign the U.S. Constitution. As many of you know, he was given the title of the Father of the Constitution, and because of that title of respect, he was actually afforded the opportunity to be the first person to sign the Constitution that established our limited republic. During his presidency, Washington founded such things as the U.S. Navy, established our nation's official currency, created the State Department and also helped to establish a Supreme Court. As you know, the Constitution was simply a framework for how the country was to work. It was up to the Second and Third Continental Congresses and the initial members of Congress and the President to kind of establish what life would look like in America under the Constitution. His appointment by the Second Continental Congress as the leader of the American forces during the Revolutionary War marked solidification of the U.S. uniting the colonies against the British. You know that Washington was born in the state of Virginia, which is a southern colony. At the time of the Revolutionary War, a majority of the soldiers that fought in it, along with its generals, were from the New England colonies. So the appointment of a southern general to lead American forces was seen as a really key political factor in uniting all 13 colonies as one nation. And that was pretty noteworthy. The sacrifices of Washington and the Founding Fathers in their infinite wisdom to create the most successful God-blessed nation in the world's history deserves and demands our continued respect and admiration. And again, on behalf of Lapeer Community Schools, our Board of Education, I want to thank Dr. Sprague and the Sons of the American Revolution for continuing to facilitate things like this. The Mount Vernon Society donates hundreds of Washington portraits annually, not to just schools, but to other organizations throughout the country, as just a small reminder of some of the things that we take for granted, I think, daily as we go about our daily lives and looking at our iPads and iPhones and the busyness of life. We forget to often appreciate the fact that there were many people in our nation's history who sacrificed life and property to make sure that students hundreds of years later could appreciate the freedoms of America that America provides. So thank you, Dr. Sprague. We very much appreciate it.
Mayor Bill Sprague, would you like to come up?
Hey, I'll keep it very short. As mayor, yeah, his name's Bob Sprague. My name's Bill Sprague. I'm the mayor of the city of Lapeer. And that's my older brother. Doesn't look like it, but I'd just like to thank the Sons of the American Revolution for donating this wonderful portrait to the schools, and challenge you folks that the way that you can remember, best remember what sacrifices were made by those folks before us would be to get involved. I have city commission meetings twice a month. There's one young gentleman that's at almost every one, but barring him and a few other people, it's a shame because rarely do we have anybody that even shows up for a city commission meeting. So I would challenge you to get involved in local politics. How many of you folks are close to 18 or 18 years old? Nobody yet? You? Are you registered to vote yet? Get registered to vote, participate. That's how you can remember. Okay, get involved in local politics. There's a smart guy that said one time all politics is local, and he's correct. Get involved in local politics, get involved in your local governments, and that's the way you can do a good thing and remember what sacrifices were made before. So once again, thank you, and I appreciate it.
Just to echo what my brother said, you know, I think most of the presidents, most of the founding fathers believed strongly that you had to have an informed, educated populace in order for democracy to thrive and to continue. So it's your duty as citizens to learn as much as you can and to engage yourself, which means get out and vote when you're ready to. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.